Hey ladies, welcome once again to my YouTube channel. This is Irva from We Do, and that's Women Empowerment Defying the Odds. I just want to quickly shout at someone last week who did something on the channel, Shermy and Lewis Balfour from World Financial Organization. She did a financial tips on We Do Wednesday. So thank you, Shermy. And today, guys, I cannot wait to introduce this guest to you. It's Chanelle Gilbert Flash. This woman has the most incredible story and journey and life after divorce and everything you can think about. This interview is gonna blow your socks off, literally. So without further ado, I'm just gonna welcome Chanelle. Chanelle, welcome, and thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me, Irva. Thank you so much.
So tell me, Chanelle, just tell me about Chanelle Gilbert Flash. Give us an intro into this magnificent woman.
Thank you so much, magnificent woman. I guess if I was to describe me, I'll just say that I am full of energy. I'm full of life, and I believe in keep going and trying again and giving it your best shot. We only have one chance at this. So I want to make sure I get it right. And if I don't get it right, at least I enjoy doing what I'm doing while I'm getting it right.
So you said getting it right and enjoy what you're doing. And I think that's really important, the enjoying what you're doing. So now I'm going to ask you, we're going to go straight into it. So just because I've known you a lot of years, I knew you were not always a lawyer, solicitor, barrister, and notary public. And I think I forgot to say that. So here we go. But what brought you to this place? I believe what were your job before, your career? What career path?
Well, I went to university and I got my bachelor's in computer science way back in the 90s, probably before, you were here. But I got my bachelor's in computer science back in the 90s, and I worked in the information technology sector for about 20 years, doing everything from programming to project management. And then I finally found my niche in solution consulting. I ended up getting divorced. So it's amazing how a life altering event can create a new door, can create something new out of you. So again, I got divorced. These things happen. Marriages break apart, irreconcilable differences, regardless of why your marriage break apart. Something I'd want to say to women, don't focus too much on the why. If it can't be fixed, don't get me wrong. If it can be fixed, do it, because marriage is beautiful. But if it can't be fixed, do your healing, get over it and move on. And that sounds easy. It's not. It takes years and it takes hard work.
You know what? Thank you. Thank you for saying, if it cannot be fixed, then move on and get through the healing process. And sometimes the healing process is long. And I'm just going to say quickly, I know because I've been a person who's been divorced too, a lot of us kind of lose ourselves in the healing process. And sometimes it's years for some people in the healing process. However, your story seemed to give a little pivot. It's a little different there. So what happened?
And again, I don't want people focus so much on the end, like, oh, she did it, she got through it, she had no problems. Yes, I went through the hurt, the pain, and you have to work through it. And let me tell you something, especially as Black people and Black women, if you need therapy, and I would like to say we all need therapy at some time, go get it. There is no shame in reaching out to somebody professional who can help you. Family and friends are there. For those of you who believe in God or have a church community, that's good. But you still need professional help to help you to say, what happened? How did I get here? How do I not get there again? How do I heal? How do I move on? So, that's just an aside. Therapy is good. Therapy and prayer works.
It is good. And both. Yes.
Therapy, prayer, and the work. You have to put in the work for yourself. How did I contribute to this? Am I enough? Am I going to remain broken? Am I going to see myself? I remember somebody said, oh, your marriage failed. My therapist said, your marriage failed, but you are not a failure. I laugh about now. When men get married, nothing changes. They don't change their name. They don't change.
90% don't change their name.
The majority of us change our name or title changes, become an MRS. We have this chip on our shoulders. When you lose it, you lose a part of you. You became a wife. You're no longer a wife. Like, who am I? Who am I taking care of now? We're so busy taking care of the husband and the children that we don't know what to do with ourselves with these things, and we stereotypes being placed on you. And it takes a lot for you to dig deep to say, hey, I am still me. You might have taken the MRS, and some of us keep the marriage name, some of us, give it back, or whatever the reason, but I am still me. I'm still worthy. I'm still a person. And that's why I have to do the work. And sometimes you need professional help to remind you of who you are and what you bring to the table. And especially for those of us who have children after divorce, when we're pouring our heart and soul and life into this child to make sure that they're not at a disadvantage, we forget that we need something too.
Yeah. So you got divorced. So now I'm assuming you're doing counseling and all this stuff. So you value, you're starting to feel like you're on fire. Chanel's worth something. And then you met this lawyer in your divorce. Pretty unusual because most people are not thinking that way. And you decide, I'm going to be a lawyer.
So exactly. He said it. And I said, really, law? But then I stopped and I thought about it because I said, God has a sense of humor. It's so funny. My grandfather is a lawyer. Mm-hmm. I have two cousins who are lawyers, and there are 3 times in my life when I could have gone into law and I chose not to. When I was at university, after first year university, you play the fool. And mm-hmm. I remember I flunked out and I did summer school. And when I was done summer school, I ended up with 2 A's and a B because, you apply yourself, you had no distraction. Mm-hmm. And at the time, my advisor said to me, hey, do you want to stay in the sciences? You have options. You can go to med, you can go to law, or you can go to whatever. You can go stay here. And it was like, medicine, no thank you. I have one brother who's a doctor already, and blood thing is not me. And law, I thought about it, but then I realized if I was going to do law, I'd already done 1 year university. I'd have to go and start over and do another 4 years. I said, no, let me get out quickly. So I did 3 years and I got out of university. Again, after I got married, I moved to Bermuda. While I was in Bermuda, I couldn't work at first because Bermuda, I had an IT degree and Bermuda outsources all of their IT. I couldn't get a job. And a friend of mine says, hey, I'm going to law school. It's in England. I know you just got married, but you just need to go to England for 6 months. And then the rest of it you can do in Bermuda. So come on, let's do law school with me. And I said, no, I just got married. I got to put my husband first. No. So there are all these times in my life when the option to do law came up. And I never did it. And here was the 3rd time it was coming up. And I said, you know what? I'm going to jump in. So I signed up.
God's giving you some clues and cues and pointers.
Yep, I jumped in. I didn't have the first red cent, but I jumped in and I did it. And that in itself is a whole nother testimony I'd have to tell you another day about.
Well, we'll have to do part 2 on that for sure.
Part 2, just finding money. Who finds money? But I went into law and I applied myself. And I'll be very honest with you, Irva, it was not easy. You talk about changing a mindset. So I have a daughter to take care of. I have a full-time job and I'm going to school full-time and by myself. So every evening I'm studying, I'm surviving on 4 hours sleep. I'm reading books, I'm studying, I'm trying to get help. It was a rough period, but it was also a healing period because I didn't have time to focus on the hurt and the pain. And
that's true.
It was being poured, it channeled into another area.
So you mentioned, so were you working full-time still then when you started law school?
Yes, I was, because I had to support my daughter. So what it was is I signed up for what they call distance education in in England. You can do law online. Unlike in Canada, you can't. You have to take the LSAT and then you have to go full-time to one of the universities. So I signed up online at University of London. It was so funny that as I started law, I started to fall in love with it. I just really, truly wanted to do this. And I guess
pause. So you weren't even when you started, you weren't in love with it yet. You just know, something's telling me to do this. I'm going to do this.
God said I should do this. So I went ahead and do it. And God made a way. He made me end up with, as I told you, he was my 3rd lawyer. He made me end up with this person who could pour into me and tell me that I had the ability. I had the smarts. He saw it in me before I saw it in myself. And that's something I want to do for others going forward. It's amazing when somebody can see something in you and encourage you and channel you into finding it and digging deep. I want to be able to encourage. We all need mentors. And I have a mentor and I want to be a mentor to somebody. I have two people right now. I'm trying to mentor and encourage them in their law degrees right now. And I encourage them and any young person who is listening, especially women, because I have a burden on my heart for women to say, yes, you can. If I can, I'm not any smarter than you. It's a matter about discipline. And for me, that's what took me through law school. So I'd pick up my daughter after work, leave work 5 o'clock, get my daughter from school, come home, feed her, do homework, spend a little time with her, have worship, put her to bed by 9:30, and then clean up the kitchen. And by 10, the latest, I was around my computer studying.
I'm going to ask you then, because you have a family, you have a daughter and you're working full time. Does something suffer for the girl out there or the woman out there who's in their 40s saying, listen, I want to go to law school, I want to go back or whatever degree? Do you have to give up something? What do you give up?
You have to give up something. I think
which
Oprah
is
Winfrey was
important.
the one who says you can't have it all. You can't have marriage and children and career and success and look beautiful and look sharp 24/7. You can't. Something has to give. And for me, what I gave up was my personal life, my social life. I went nowhere for the first, probably call it 5 years. I went nowhere. Usually I used to be a social butterfly or be emceeing
I know
functions.
you are.
I'd be at church all day, all night. I gave that all up. So it became studies from Sunday to Thursday night. I'm telling you, the hours from 10 to 12, 10 to 2, you couldn't get me. I was studying. It got up in the morning and it was just all about my daughter and myself. So that gave way. And a lot of the idiosyncrasies and the nuances that I love, I'd clean my house from top to bottom every Sunday. Wash, cook, clean, iron, dust furniture. I gave up dusting. That's
No,
one of those I gave up.
Something got to give, right?
Right. I gave up cleaning my house from top to bottom every Sunday. Instead, it became probably once a month I do a deep, thorough cleaning. So you have to give up something. So you're going to give up either dating, going out, hanging out with your friends, going to movies. I gave that up. And the times that I would want to do that, I would have to invest and spend with my child. And two, my child became a part of the learning process because as she got older, in the beginning, I had to pay somebody to stay with her. As she got older, she'd come to classes with me. So she was
you can see mommy.
Here is mommy in class. So that's why when I was walking the stage, I said, you're coming to graduation because you were a part of this. You sat in that class with me. So again, to women, there may be some women who can have it all. They can do it all. They probably have a spouse who encourages them and will fall in and help them to do certain things. I didn't have that. So I had to give up something to make it work and to make it happen. And for me, it was worth it. I have no regrets about giving up the social life, giving up going here, there, and everywhere, giving up travel. I didn't go on a vacation for 5 years. Gave up all of that.
Because I guess, in the long run, these things are going to come back. So I'm going to ask, what did it feel like though last year? Because I looked at your story. It's real, guys. If she gives you the opportunity, her YouTube is private, but you should watch this woman's story. What did it feel like last year? COVID. You did it. 7 years. You thought it was going to be 3, I think you said. Then 5, 7 years. You were in your 40s. You started probably early, now you're almost 50, but you're getting it. What did it feel like? Tell us.
It's something what you call delayed gratification. And before I get to what I feel, I'd like to encourage people. I remember when I was going through, as she said, I thought it was going to be a 4, at most 5-year journey. 3 years for my bachelor's of law, then 1 year to article, and probably 6 months to a year to study for my bar, because that's the Canadian way. You have to article for 10 months, and then you study for your bar exams. All right. It so happened that they changed the rules after I started law school and said, if you did distance learning, you had to attend a Canadian law school 2 years full time. Now, that set me back. That was depressing. I'm not going to tell you. I wanted to give up. I was done. I actually did.
So what kept you going?
What kept me going? Again, the belief of my mentor that I could do it, 1. And 2, I remember my pastor, I'd spoken to him once. And then one day out of the blue, he called me and he goes, hey, what's happening? Where you reach? How much longer to go? I go, oh, I'm done. They want me to go back to school and I'm tired. I can't do this no more. He's like, so how far are you? You passed halfway already? I said, yeah. He goes, oh, so you passed halfway, you're going to give up? Really? You realize that you've put in more already than what you needed to get over the finishing line? Girl, go get it done. And as I'm saying, God places people in your life to give you encouragement when you need it. Again, and I remember hearing my daughter tell somebody, oh, my mommy is going to become a lawyer. And here's
what you like
speaking my dream. And I'm saying, what? I'm done. So yeah, little miss me went and signed up for school again and figured out, well, I don't have the money. Here comes OSAP, because I always said I wanted to go to school and graduate debt-free. And I'd done the first degree debt-free. I'd done the second degree, the master's debt-free, but I had to do the articling. And to do the articling, I had to give up my day job, which
so you need the OSAP.
I used to pay for my law schooling until this point. I had to give that all up. I had to go on article and that whole process. But I did it, and with God's grace and with the support and help of family and well-wishers. So when I finally completed the articling, and then I sat the bar exams, and the results came out the first time I did the solicitors first, and I passed which I think I passed the barristers first, because for me, that was the easier one, because I love family law and I love litigation. But the second one, where there's real estate law and business law and tax law, that was tough. It was a hard exam. And when the result came out, I couldn't even open it. I was too scared to open it, but I opened it and I passed both bar exams on my first try, which again is amazing. It's all God. Again, not that I'm very smart, but God just shone down his mercies on me is all I can say. So I was able to do that. So then I could be called to the bar. And then here comes 2020 with COVID. And we can't have the big ceremony where you get to walk across Roy Thompson.
I know, you can't even feel your reward.
That was just so anticlimactic, but what God reminded me in that area is that when you're called, that's all that matters. It doesn't matter who called you. It matters when he called, that he called you. So I didn't get the official formal call to walk across the stage. But again, God did give me a little bit of, what you call a little pat on the back. They had a virtual call to the bar ceremony, and they ended up asking me to give a little talk. And I did a little video, and it asked for 30 seconds. I ended up doing a minute, and I sent it in, and they used my video to end it.
Well, so that's very good.
I was like, here am I, a little
you got your spot. God gave you your spot.
A little black girl from the Caribbean, when I first came to Canada, they said to you, oh, you don't have a Canadian degree, so therefore, you're going to have to redo things. And here am I ending, all these thousands of law candidates, and I got to end the virtual call to the bar with my words. And I'm like,
the girl from the Caribbean.
Little girl from the Caribbean, here I am. And I'm just thankful for my journey, because it's a reminder that, one, with God, all things are possible. And two, it's now my responsibility to encourage somebody else, some woman out there who is feeling broken, who is feeling like they can't move on, they can't do it. And I'm telling you, yes, you can.
Yes,
why?
You can.
Because I did it, and I am still in my right mind. Praise the Lord. We know how divorce is. It makes you doubt yourself, depression, whatever sadness is. Yes, you can. You can overcome in time. I'm not saying it's immediate and it's easy and it's a walk in the park. No, again, there's so many things in my life. I was married for 7 years. It took me 7 years to do the law degree and to get called to the bar, and here I am. So the same amount of energy and effort I put into my marriage,
you had to put into personal life.
I put into my personal life, and here I am today. I'm a lawyer, solicitor, as she says, a barrister, solicitor, and a notary public. I can notarize all your documents. And I had no intention of forming my own law firm. The plan was to go and work down Bay Street at some top law firm for 5 to 10 years, and then I wanted to become a judge. But again, God had other plans for my life. I didn't get hired, and things just somehow fell into place that I was able to start my own thing. And it's early days yet. It's still a struggle, but I will be honest with you. I'm enjoying what I'm doing. I go to work every day and I am happy. I get to set my hours. I get to choose my clients. And at the end, I get to see the joy on my client's face. And one of the reasons why I actually did go into law was to make a difference, especially when women are getting divorced. We sometimes feel like we don't deserve anything. And I want women to realize that I've gone through it. I can both empathize and sympathize while applying the law and remind you, take care of yourself. The law is here to take care of you. Child support is here if you're eligible. Spousal support is here is eligible. Whatever the government has set up for you, take it. Stop saying nonsense that I don't want anything from him. I'm done with him. I'm gone. No, he can go, but the gentleman is still responsible for his child. And depending on what happened in the marriage, he could still be responsible for you as well. So there you go. Look after yourself. Take what is your due. I'm not saying to take advantage of the fellow. And the same thing I'd say to the man. If I have male clients, I'm fighting for them just as hard. If you think you're deserving or you did something, the law is there to back you up and support you. Find a lawyer who is willing to listen to you and understand you and to put the best interest, first of all, of the child. That's my pet peeve. The best interest of the child first, and your best interest after. And then let's see how we can all come out at the end as winners.
Well, I want to thank you so much. Honestly, this is an incredible story. I know, just quickly, I'm going to say, because we ran into time here, just from looking at your YouTube, you mentioned, and you sort of mentioned, in your first few years, you had to pay a babysitter. Sometimes you had to take your kids, you call your pastor to talk, have friends. So I think what you're saying here, you need that village. It's not an independent journey most times. You need support.
And I'll be, as we're closing, I'll say to you, I know after a divorce, you feel you want to pull away, you want to be by yourself. That's not the best time to be by yourself. You need a support system. So if there are those who love you and want to support you and there for you, allow them to do it. It was hard for me to allow others in. You and I are very similar, strong, Black, independent Black women. We don't ask for help. We don't need help. We can do it all. No man is an island. No man stands alone. Find your village. Be a village to somebody, and each one reach one. So I just like to encourage you and everybody else out there. We're in this together. Let's encourage each other and let's live our best lives.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you very much. And I like the end, each one reach one and encourage someone. You know, we're not an island. Thank you so much, Chanelle. I really appreciate your story, guys. Chanelle, just tell us the name of your, is it a company?
My law firm is Flash Law Professional Corporation, website flashlawpc.com. So that's FLASHLAWPC.com. And again, I specialize in family law, wills and estate, and I can do your real estate transactions as well, buying or selling. Give me a call. Or if you need documents notarized or commissioned, I'm your person. All right.
All right. Thank you so much for your time, Chanelle. I appreciate it, guys. And check Chanelle out at her law firm. She said it. And thank you for your story. And probably we'll have you back one day when, you know, in the next year, your law firm we may see you on a billboard somewhere. So we're looking forward to that.
Thank you so much, Irva. All the best. And thank you.
Thank you.